Welcome back to Off Mets Pod. My name is Jorge,
My name is Jacob.
My name's Tanner.
and we are so excited to be back. We had a lot going on. We had Christmas break and back to school, and so we're happy to be back with y'all for another episode. And today's gonna be a good one. It's a little short, but it's a good one.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Short and
to the
sweet,
point,
straight to the point.
direct.
Okay.
Whatever you want to hear, you're gonna get it, and you're gonna get it fast.
Yeah. So
stay.
Tanner, what are we talking about today?
Dude, power of the tongue, baby.
Let's go. So we have a lot to say about this topic, obviously, because, or at least I do. I feel like I struggled with this a lot. And our producer in the back is laughing because I I just say what's on my mind. And the Lord has been really testing me with this one. And the past 5 years, because I really love to say what I would like to say, and it's never to offend. It's just straight to the point, kind of no sugarcoating. And so this one has really hit home for me. And obviously everyone talks about James, and how James says that your tongue can easily build up something, but can also spark a fire in something, right? In the woods. That's the imagery he uses. But it really is just my words can easily build up someone and also bring them down.
Yeah.
And so I started to realize that the past years that it's I can say things. It's okay to say things and be truthful, but there's also love that it's behind the words and stuff. And so this one's gonna hit home.
Yeah. When Jorge told me the subject today was going to be power of the tongue, it reminded me when I was in high school, I used to, with my family, I said a lot of stuff. I would just, I wasn't a believer at the time. I kind of just focused on video games and soccer and just friends and alcohol and girls. Those kind of my main motives and my purpose, I felt was my life. I'm sure we all can relate to that in some way. But my sister was always patient with me, but she sent me a podcast one day from Ben Stewart. He's a pastor. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I think he leads a church called Passion DC. Have y'all heard of that? You never heard of Passion DC by Ben Stewart? He's a big on relationships.
I don't know.
You never heard of him? Okay.
I've heard of Passion, but I'm thinking of
he
Passion
leads a church in Passion DC. I think he's in Washington. Anywho, he's a really good. His books. He's really good. Shipped me a podcast, and it was about the power of what you say and what comes out of your mouth. And I listened to it, and it convicted me so hard. Because I would joke around with my brother all the time. I have dude, I've caused my brother trauma by the stuff I've said to him.
Wow.
And vice versa. And what my dad said to me, I think we don't realize sometimes that what comes out of our mouth matters, and it impacts people so much, negatively and positively. And so I remember hearing that, and it changed my life. It literally changed my life. I heard that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to grow up. I need to grow up and care more about what I say.
Dang.
And I didn't even realize that the stuff I was saying, making fun of my brother, even little comments dude, your pants look great today, or your pants are tight, buddy, or just making comments on anything for anybody. And I'd always say, I'm joking.
Oh, shoot.
But it wasn't
it's just a joke.
joking.
So you're one of those guys, huh?
But it's not I joke today. It's different. It's it was I was low key doing it out of insecurity because I wanted to make them feel bad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make them insecure and hit them to their core where where it hurts them to make me feel better. But it's all a joke. And my sister's so wise, and she knew that. She could tell. She that podcast changed my life. And so I think when we become we grow with the Lord and we grow in awareness and conviction, we understand that our words matter. And so I think it's really, really important subject. And I think it's crucial and fun and really weighty when you learn that and learn how to use your words for good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody
that's really good. Sorry, I was about to say.
No, dude, I don't know. I've kind of always been kind of careful with what I say. I mean, there's been moments where you say stuff at the wrong time, or you say the wrong thing because you weren't thinking or whatever.
Yeah, that happens.
But
a lot.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I just think about it more so on the receiving end of it, so growing up, I have an autistic brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to make sure that I can take. I mean, he's high functioning. He can work and live on his own. He's fine. But I was trying to like take care of him and in any way I can or help him because I know he doesn't understand social cues and all that. So I would always be very respectful to him and like treat him like, because he doesn't. Why would I treat him any differently? But then going through school, middle school, bro, that's not what kids do. That's not what boys do, bro.
No,
so
that's
I couldn't reciprocate kind of the energy they were giving. I kind of just took it and kind of just dealt with it, which kind of sucked, which is why middle school sucked for me.
Yeah.
But like that was
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Even just the small things. You're like, dude, that's like
The small things, yeah.
It's
dude. Like you mentioned the pants thing, bro. If someone talked about my pants, I'd probably never wear those again. You know what I mean?
And
maybe I was so excited to buy them.
So
You never know.
And you don't know where someone's at in the stage you're in. Like,
Yeah.
that's so true. That's such a good point you brought up. Because, like, I don't tell a lot of people, but my brother's just a good example. Like, I would make fun of stuff, and I know it impacted him, but I wasn't intimate enough to even know.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're doing to people, and they don't know what they're doing to us when we say stuff. Like, someone can say a really small thing, like you said, like a small thing, and it'd be, like, super impactful to me in a good way. And they don't even know.
Yeah.
If someone just compliments one thing, like, so I'm working on my singing right now.
Oh.
Go, baby.
It's a
No,
vulnerable
you
thing.
do
let's
not
hear it.
have
Hit
to.
us
No,
with something
don't.
right now.
And
Go ahead.
And I showed Julia like a recording earlier, and she was like, "Whoa, that's way better." And just that small thing can carry so much weight to somebody. So take that with
it's really funny because I will be the opposite, and
it hurts my feelings.
and yeah, and it hurts his feelings, and he knows I'm joking, but even in the joking, it can still hurt, and like,
Totally.
and I think that's one of the things.
Intentions and your intentions are like, I know you're not really trying to hurt me deep,
Yeah,
but it's so obvious when that's somebody that will say that. I know you know what I'm talking about. When they'll say small things and they know,
like they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
you know they're trying to hurt
Yeah.
you. Everybody knows that, and he's like, I'm joking, like, and you just don't like them. But when
Yeah.
you joke, I don't dislike you because I know deep down you're a good person and you're
Yeah.
not gonna hurt me.
And I want him to succeed. I would love to hear him sing really well. And
Don't
like,
we all?
the-
Yeah.
Well,
No,
So-
but you can tell the difference.
yeah.
No, easily. Yeah.
No, and I think one of the things I was talking about with my D-Strip group this past Friday was, so first of all, in Proverbs 18:21 it says the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who will love it who love it will eat its fruit. And it's like,
Can you read that again?
the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. And it's so interesting to me because like whatever you say is what you're producing life around you, and so or what you're producing around you. So if you're producing death towards someone, that is what you're going to receive back, right? It's the power of sowing and reaping. The same thing. It's like you think about it like, oh, if I sow money or if I sow time or if I whatever, like God is gonna like give that back to me, and He's gonna like, and He's gonna bless me in that. But it's the same way with my words, right? Because I was joking around with Shelby, and I was like
always.
like always, and we're always joking around and like saying jokes, but it's like, and I told her, I was like, if you can't take it, then don't deal it. It's the same thing, but it's like also you're dealing out pain and suffering towards another person. Why do you expect life to be brought back to you? And so,
and the question is though, like, why are we dealing out pain?
yeah,
It's because
in the
we're
first
probably
place.
getting fed that, like whatever we're feeding with our souls, or
That's
whatever's
so facts.
happening, we're not dealing with it, or maybe we're listening
Amen.
to like, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think if you're listening to bad music or like something like that, or watching bad,
Ooh, that's
you
a
think
good.
So
do you think
like,
that would come out?
If you know, like, I just know growing up, like different friend groups, like you're around friend groups that cuss a lot, and you go around friend groups that don't.
Mhm.
You
Oh
don't
my
cuss in
gosh.
those friend groups, so you cuss in the ones
Yeah.
when you're around those people. So if you have people like constantly dishing out stuff because of insecurities and all that, and you guys are kind of like
Man,
Yes,
I feel like
doing that to each other, it like feeds off everybody, and
Yeah.
that's just
so true.
it's that
It's like
negative
you're
energy you're bringing to the group. and
Yeah.
It's not that.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like you're creating an atmosphere
yes,
Mhm.
to just
of
of
negativity.
negativity.
Yeah.
Like, that was my high school experience. Really.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
And
And
I-
I had my friend groups that were really good about like not being negative, and then I had my friend groups that are so negative.
I know.
And I'm like,
yeah.
It's suffocating, and I can't really speak about my current life, but it's happening right now too, where I'm surrounded by people that are super negative, and I can't say anything about it because, I am below, like, I'm not in a position to say anything.
Is this?
And
It's not with us, right?
nope, and I can't, like, that's all I can say. And so,
Well, it's not me. You can say that.
no, it's not. No,
It's not me.
It's not you or
It's me-
Tanner.
it's
no.
me.
And if
Wow.
you're watching this podcast, definitely probably not you either.
Oh,
But
I see what you're saying.
but
I don't know if you
yeah.
realize.
So there's
One of
just
your classic call outs.
yeah no. Oh my gosh. No. But just to save me what is it, like, lawfully, I guess? No, I just don't want to. Anyways,
No, yeah.
not the point. Besides the
hear you.
point,
I hear you.
I can say, but I'm so surrounded by that, and it's suffocating, because at this point, I don't even know what to say. Like, I laugh and I chuckle, but it's so awkward because, like, I don't see it the same way as you, and I'm looking at it at a different perspective, and like sometimes I try to do that, and I'll be like, but like, look at it like this way, like they're just doing this, like blah blah blah, and I'm like. And then, like, I give them, like, a good reason to not think about it that way, and they still, like, oh, but, like, that sucks, you know? And I'm like, dang, like, chill. And so one of the things that we were talking about on Friday was the whole, like, when Paul is talking to the Corinthians, and he goes, and he says, I gave you milk, not solid food, for you were not ready for it. Indeed, you are still not ready. You are still worldly. For since there is jealousy and quarreling among you, are you not worldly? Are you not acting like mere humans? And, like, the Corinthians church was struggling with a lot of things. And so Paul is writing this letter, but it still applies. Like, they're talking about jealousy and quarreling and, like, all this stuff. But it talks about, like, it is referring to everything. You are immature. You call yourself Christians, yet you are destructive. And you are going against God. And so aren't you acting like everyone you are supposedly, like, above, right? Because, like, sometimes Christians, we tend to, like, oh, we're above everything, or, like, we don't need to do this because we're Christians.
And why is that? Like, I also want to pause.
We're hypocrites.
I just want to pause that. So I used to have, like, that belief about Christians, right?
Yeah.
Like, they had that stigma, and I was like, ugh, I hate that. And then I became a Christian, and, like, a year after, like, being a believer, there has been, like, temptation to be like that. I find myself in a spot where, like, oh, was I doing that? Like, was I being the person that I always wanted to call out?
That you hated.
And you know what I'm saying, Tanner? Like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
I feel like it's easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, we all do it. Like, I've seen Julia do it. I've seen myself do it.
Yeah.
I've seen, like, Hannah do it. Like,
I've all done it. No, we've all done it in some way, like, either small or big. It doesn't matter, because, again, it goes back to the power of your tongue. Like, what you say to someone is so impactful, especially because people from the outside are looking at you in such a higher way. Like, because, like, regardless of what people's beliefs are, they still think Christianity is something greater in some way. So that's why their words affect them so much. And so for you to be such a hypocrite and say, like, oh, you're, like, dealing with this, you're going to hell, or you're doing this and you're doing that, and that's bad, like, take the speck out of your own eye or take the log out of your own eye before you, like, point out the speck in another person's eye.
Yeah. And you look at Jesus, like, he came out to literally call out and like, convict the Pharisees. That's all they were doing.
Oh my God, I wrote that.
That's all. Oh, you did?
I wrote that. Yeah, I literally said, protect your heart, and just like the Pharisees, if our heart is not pure, we are dead men's bones. That's literally what. That's literally.
Or is that what you wrote?
No. That is like, he calls it dead men's bones in Matthew.
And so, like, you know, when you get that, I think the perfect example. Okay, so right, this episode is about words matter. Yeah. And how we speak matters, and what we say matters. And the perfect example to who to become and to constantly being molded and refined to is Jesus, right? And so, for example, is how did Jesus speak? What did Jesus call out? And he always called out the people who were the quickest, the most prideful, to call out somebody else's junk in a materialistic, almost like external way of, like, looking good, right? That, I mean, that what he cares about is your heart. And so he's the first one to call out this pride and these. And I feel like the Pharisees, for some, it's not in scripture, I don't think, but I think the Pharisees were probably really insecure.
No, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
They have to be, because how is, like, if I was a Pharisee, and, like, I was at that time, and then some random guy started, like, the Pharisees were like the top, like, like, I know everything, I know scripture well, like, I'm right hand to God, basically, like, to themselves. That's what they were missing. But they were missing that thing, and then some random guy is born,
Yeah.
Obviously not random, it's Jesus, but Jesus is born, and then he comes and does miracles and does all this stuff that they can't do.
And they go crazy
And
about
then
it.
go
The
crazy.
Chosen's a perfect
Oh my
example.
God, yes.
So like if you watch The Chosen, they go in like
They go in
it's
bizarre.
scripture. They go crazy. They're always trying to call out
Jesus.
not alone everybody that sins, but Jesus. They're always trying to call out Jesus. Like it's because they literally like he has something that they don't know
have.
about, and they're supposed to be the representation of who he is, you know, who
Yeah.
God is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look at Jesus and you really read his word, like if you, like I had this this preconception of the Bible before I even read it, and I was so wrong. But if you really read God's word in the Bible, you will find that Jesus is slow to speak. And when he talks, it matters, and
It
it's
does.
valuable, and it's always perfect.
Yeah.
And it's such a good example. Like you'll never catch Jesus out of
Saying-
insecurity belittling somebody for their own glory, for his own glory.
Yeah.
He's never going to do that. He got so low that he got naked on a cross and got nailed to it in the most embarrassing, excruciating death you can do for us. Like he got so low. So that's the example.
Yeah.
And you can take that into words.
Yeah.
You
And
know
he
what I'm saying?
like he represents it, and all the apostles talk about it. It's such a crazy thing because like throughout the New Testament, every apostle talks about the tongue.
Yeah.
Like they in some like form or fashion, like in the Gospels, obviously it's Jesus speaking about the tongue and the importance of the tongue. But like when you look at the next like books or whatever, or the next letters that the apostles wrote, they always talked about how people struggled with their tongue, with their actions, like how they spoke and how they presented themselves. And kind of back to like the whole Pharisee thing in Matthew, it literally says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites!
Whoa.
You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead, and everything unclean."
That's
It's,
awesome.
it's like
Can I make one?
what?
It's a woe to you.
Oh, what did I say?
Woe to you.
Oh.
Woe to you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
My
I
bad.
want to make a funny
Woe
joke
to
out
you.
of that, but it was like whoa, like
Whoa.
woe back then was like almost
Yeah.
like a sorrowful thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
woe to you, like you know what I'm
Like
saying?
chill out,
Yeah.
like be careful, like whoa.
Yeah.
But like, and then obviously I have to pull out James, because obviously like James is the most talks about it. But he literally says that the tongue is the hardest like thing to tame, and we are oops, my bad. Water is shut off at Copper Beach. And so
Good luck with that, dude. Don't you live there?
yeah, I do live there. Great. No, I've been showered.
it.
So, no, so he says like the tongue is the hardest thing to tame. And it's so crazy to us because
yeah.
because we are like it's such a small part of our body. And yet he calls it like you would think that it's like just shut your mouth. But it's like no, like
It's hard.
it's hard.
And some people, it's hard for them to open their mouth.
Ooh.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Don't look at me.
It's hard to open their mouth and for something really good to come out. It's
Yeah.
a struggle. And sometimes for guys like me, it's hard to shut it and not say something stupid. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think this is all just an encouragement and almost a conviction for us and y'all.
Yeah.
Kind of wrapping up a little bit. I think we should leave with an encouragement.
Yeah.
So Tanner, do you want to go first? Do you have an encouragement to us or anybody listening for when it comes to your words matter?
I mean, I'll let you guys go. Give me a second.
How does it
Okay.
encourage you?
Yeah.
I want to ask that to you. Like Tanner, how does this encourage you? How are you dealing with this in your life? And
Well, I think the last thing you just said, kind of like, you said like some people don't say anything. I think a lot of times I struggle to say something because I'm just scared. You know what I mean? And even if it's right, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
something like
she's
that.
agreeing with you, by the way.
Yeah. Our
So-
producer's agreeing with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think just, when you just gotta say it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just one thing in my experience, just with receiving end of like, people saying, but things
Yeah.
towards you don't like.
Yeah. And it,
Once
Dude,
you experience that,
Dude,
it's like,
somebody's relating to you right now.
no, that's
Like,
so true.
like even her, like that vulnerability right there, like that vulnerability of you just even saying that, it's encouraging, and somebody's relating to that.
yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying,
hope,
bro?
man. It's
Like those words you just said matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like those small
And the
things.
truth.
Like you just saying that, you're like, no, y'all just go. But no, like you saying that is like growth, and that is like powerful, and that is like that. what the moment we just captured was the proof that words matter. You know what I'm saying?
Crawdads also.
And it doesn't have to be just like us. Like when somebody who doesn't speak as much has the boldness and the power to speak, it's amazing and it's valued.
Sometimes it's like a missed opportunity to even just like make someone's day. Like even those kind
Yeah.
of things. It's like, oh, but why am I so afraid to even say and compliment somebody? I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the time where it was like best was when I was working at Chick-fil-A, and I love customer service. I love talking to randoms in
Yeah.
the drive-thru. Dude, I try to compliment every single car that I take, every order, and be like, wow, I really like your eyes, or that's your
Bro, it's
really nice
rare.
car, or something like that every single day. And dude, it's like you see their smile or something, or they say thank you. It's like maybe that's their only compliment of the
Yeah.
day. You know
Of
what I
the
mean?
week.
Of the week,
even,
dude.
yeah. And so that's
The
like,
month.
just growing up and being on the receiving end of it, it wasn't
Yeah.
that fun. So I've always tried to like flip that and try to just put out, positivity towards people if I
Yeah.
can. But I'm still afraid at certain times. Then I wasn't, but I guess I still am. So
Yeah.
That's good.
And
Tanner.
it's so crazy because low-key, America doesn't know how to speak. And we've lost our ability to speak because we're so addicted to our phones
Yeah.
and to like instant gratification. Like, say hello to someone. Oh my gosh. Like, when you watch like older movies, like, you know how like everyone's like on the
Yeah.
street, like that
Yeah.
cliche, like, hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what I mean? Like random, like everyone's saying good morning to themselves, but it's like, no, like we don't say that anymore. We don't even say good morning. We just we just pass them and then like continue on our day. But it's like, why can't we just like, hey, have a great day,
Yeah.
or hey, like, how are you doing, or whatever, or I was watching this video of like, I'm fine. We use I'm fine so much. But like we don't, because we don't know how to communicate our emotions, or we don't know how to communicate correctly. And then because we are so addicted to like our phones and like being stuck there, our phones do it for us, so we don't know how to speak. And so then we have trouble with our tongue, because then when we do speak, we haven't practiced that, and we haven't practiced like this, the stuff that God is teaching us to be like. And so how can you get better at something if you don't practice it?
You know what I've been doing? It's easier for me to talk to random people than it is for people I know, actually.
That's so crazy.
Which is weird. It's like, I don't know. I don't know why that is, actually. I got to think about that. But, dude, every time I go to In-N-Out like 3 times a week. I'll be honest. So I go through the In-N-Out drive-thru. They always ask like, hi, like, I don't know how your day's doing or something like that. But I always say, I'm doing good. How are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Like, I'm sure they get that a lot, but like, it feels good on my end too.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like,
It's just not seen anymore.
it really isn't.
But anyways,
I for
off track.
just the last encouragement. Yeah, I think words matter, and I think it's a journey. Getting from where we all once were and could be still, to a place that's like way more healthy. And I think just my experience, it is super crucial. Like I've had experience like with my dad who was just verbally really unhealthy, and it's been like one of my biggest strongholds and struggles and like traumas. And so I say that to say, like, don't be that person to somebody else, to your kids when you have them one day. Because it can be very easy, and it can be a very tempting too. And it just be like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not okay. And I'm had a journey through that. And if anybody can hear this, like even y'all, I want to encourage us to hold ourselves to a higher standard and become healthy with Jesus.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to ask Jesus to give you that life, to give you those clean words, to give you speech that is edifying and that is valuable, and that is uplifting. But also at times it can call people out, and it could be good. But it's almost like smart speech. It's like words that
seasoned with salt is what the Bible calls it.
Yeah, like you words that almost like have like integrity and value, even if they don't have to always be positive. Like, you can call out somebody and it be normal, but it's healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah.
And so I just encourage that over you, whoever's listening, and all of us.
Yeah.
And I think words really matter.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to be a light to everyone around us, and that starts with the way that we act and the way that we speak. Personal experience.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the difference that my words were making to people, and your words and your actions and your phrases and those things that you say to people, like, without you even realizing, can change them.
Yeah.
And I encourage y'all to just take that with like importance. Like, just really reflect on that this week or whenever you do listen to it. And my producer's showing me something, but I can't see it. So
Is
it's
it
in
Matthew
the Bible.
5?
Genesis 1.
Genesis 1. What?
In the beginning, God spoke to create.
Oh, yeah.
Fire.
In the beginning, God spoke. Yeah, and like our words and God from the very beginning, like everything, it's about speech, and everything is about the power of your words. And I just encourage y'all to find someone that like you wouldn't normally. You know what's harder to say is the people you don't like. I encourage y'all this week to find someone that you shouldn't not like someone, but someone that just pushes your buttons a little bit. Find someone that does that and then encourage them.
Yeah.
And put sow life into their lives, because you might not get it back from them, but you'll get it from someone else, or you'll get it in somewhere else. Like, God is going to bless you if your heart is in the right place and you do things with the intentions, like with good intentions and with a good heart. And words matter.
Yeah.
And I think we've all experienced that, and I'm sure that you've experienced that in your life.
Yeah.
And so I love y'all. Oh,
I'm gonna close out with one thing real quick.
yeah.
Off of what you said, it sparked. That's so good, bro. And I just want to, with that, I want to encourage you to go apologize to somebody that you.
Oh my gosh, I had to do that today.
That you've hurt deeply, because you know what it feels like to be hurt. So I really challenge you with the Spirit of the Lord, with the Spirit of love. Go apologize to somebody. It will do miracles in your life. I want to end with this scripture. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's Matthew 5. It's been just with Sozo College. It's been like an anthem. But you are the salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. 14. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close this out.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
Close it out.
Thank y'all for watching. And love y'all. We hope to see y'all next week. I think next week, hopefully next week. Stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We are so grateful to have this and have y'all. And so, yeah. Did you see something else, or was that it? Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
That's it.
Have a great time.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.